So we're going to talk about why Prince Andrew has a really good chance of getting his case dismissed. My name is Nathan Laurie. If you are new here, we talk about the law and the facts. If you're about that life, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. All right, so first, let's start off with a little background. Why are we here? ABC News.
This morning, secret court documents revealed in the long-standing civil case between Prince Andrew and his accuser, Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Andrew's legal team have unsealed the 2009 settlement Giuffre reached with sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. It shows she received $500,000 and that she would not involve parties associated with Epstein, including, quote, royalty, a term referenced in the original lawsuit. Now 38, Giuffre claims she was trafficked for sex by Jeffrey Epstein and accuses Prince Andrew of having sex with her on several occasions and in multiple locations, including New York, starting when she was 17. These are claims he's denied many times.
I've said consistently and frequently that we never had any sort of sexual contact.
Attorneys for the Duke of York argue those documents should prevent him from being sued and exclude him from further litigation. In an interview with the BBC, the Duke of York admitted to having known Epstein through his longtime friend, now convicted sex offender, Ghislaine Maxwell, who he met in 1999.
I'd known her since she was at university in the UK. And it would be, to some extent, a stretch to say that as it were, we were close friends.
Okay, so just let me break this down in plain English. Virginia Giuffre took $500,000 in cash and signed this agreement. That's her signature. And in that agreement, it allegedly says that she can't sue anyone associated with Jeffrey Epstein in return for this $500,000. So the court has to determine whether Prince Andrew is covered under this agreement. Now, there's another person that Virginia Giuffre is suing, attorney Alan Dershowitz. So essentially, he may also be covered by this agreement that was signed in 2009. So I want you guys to play judge today. And I want you guys to determine if this agreement bars this lawsuit against both Prince Andrew and Alan Dershowitz. So here's the settlement agreement between Virginia Giuffre, aka Virginia Roberts, and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the most important part, I think, of this is the general release. Now, at the beginning, it just says that Virginia Roberts is going to get $500,000. For what? Well, in the second paragraph of Section 2 in general release, it goes over who is going to be released based on this valuable consideration, $500,000. It reads, hereby remise, release, acquit, satisfy, or forever discharge the said second parties and other parties or entities who could have been included as a potential defendant, quote, other potential defendants, from all manner of action and actions of Virginia Roberts, including state and federal cause and causes of action, common law or statutory, suits, debts, duties, sums of money, accounts, reckoning, bonds, bills, specialties, covenants, contracts, controversies, agreements, promises, variances, trespasses, damages, judgments, executions, claims, and demands whatsoever in law or in equity for compensatory or punitive damages that said first parties, Virginia Roberts, ever had or now have, or that any personal representative, successor, heir assigned, and said first parties hereafter can, shall, or may have against Jeffrey Epstein or other potential defendants for, upon, or by reason of any matter, cause, or thing whatsoever, whether known or unknown, from the beginning of the world to the day of this release. So now I want to be extremely, extremely clear. I am not advocating that the prince did nothing wrong or the prince is some type of saint or he should even be found not guilty or should not have to pay some civil liability to this woman. Right? I am not advocating for that by any means. I think if the prince did this stuff, he should pay her. But my issue is the legal matter. As a legal matter, is the prince immune from this civil suit based on what you've just heard? Was she paid $500,000 to essentially give up any claims against the prince, Alan Dershowitz, against anyone else who may have been involved in this? It seems like reading that, it's pretty broad. Now, the judge can find that this may not be relevant to this case, in some way. I just don't know how or what the legal reason would be to say that this agreement is invalid. But, her signature's on it, 2009, and she got the money. It's just going to be hard to determine whether this agreement is even enforceable. Now, I know agreements for illegal conduct, for instance, aren't enforceable by courts. For instance, you can't have a contract for sexual contact, right? Like say, if you have a contract with a prostitute and you don't pay, that prostitute can't then go to court and say, I want this contract enforced, right? You can't have, or, a hitman, you pay a hitman. You can't go to court and say, well, this guy didn't kill the person I want him to kill, because that's an illegal contract. Maybe there's some wiggle room under that provision, but as of right now, the contract seems all legit, right? You can't sue someone civilly because for this conduct. So I really want to know what people think, because this is almost hitting me like a Bill Cosby situation again, where we all know Bill Cosby's a bad guy. We know he did some horrible things. But legally, the decision was correct. You can check my, it's up here. You can check my review of that situation. But legally, Bill Cosby should have been released, right? I don't even think he should have been prosecuted based on the law as it was. And I think that's the same thing with Rittenhouse, and that's the same thing here. If you're going to allow people to sign these type of agreements, get the money, and then come back, 11 years or, however many years it is now, and then say that, hey, I still want to sue these people, even though you've kind of signed this release, it's difficult. So, I really want to see what you guys think. I think in, my opinion, I want to make it very clear, this is my opinion. I think Andrew probably did what this woman is alleging that he did, right? He was with Jeffrey Epstein and did all this stuff, and, he got the pictures. I'm thinking that she has a case, but did she sign away her right to sue him for $500,000? This is a hard one, guys. My heart says one thing, and I think morally we all feel one way, but legally, it seems like it is going to go another way. But let me know how you feel in the comment section. Let me know if you say, well, Nate, you just don't know what you're talking about. This woman should be able to sue and get paid. This is all wrong. That's a valid feeling. But we live in a country based on laws. And if we allow this to go, then can anyone sign agreements that are going to be enforced? Unless you can find some loophole in which this agreement shouldn't be enforced. All the links to the agreement and everything are in the description if you want to read the whole thing. But it's a weird little twist. Again, this is a hard one. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.